Hello, everybody. I'm Titta with the Universal Healing Group, and this is the start of my interviews with the smashingly amazing people. And night for me and day for you, Robert. You will be meeting somebody who inspires a lot of me and other people. So please welcome Robert Starbuck. Hey, Robert, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I'll tell you a little bit how I met Robert. So, you know me, the crazy healer who just like, you asked me, my husband said to me, it's like, hey, darling, what would you like to go to Burning Man? And I said, I have no idea what Burning Man is, but I'll try anything once. And off we went to Burning Man, which for those guys who don't know, it's an amazing illusion in the Nevada desert, which is just an amazing moment of celebration of art and life. And there started to
and the human imagination
and human imagination, and with such a generous gifting and being present and being conscious, and really it is a beautiful utopia land. So in this utopia land where we were in the middle of dusk, there started to go kind of like a bus that, you know, have you heard there is this amazing breathing guy who is giving breathings out on this tent, and we're like, oh no, we didn't hear this, let's go. And we did. And they were like, you know, barely did we get into the tent because there were hundreds of people trying to get in, and, you know, in this dust, leaving their shoes at the entrance of the huge tent. And there he was, Robert Starbuck, leading us through an incredible moment of breathing in a very special technique, where the result was that there were people really going through their woundings and weeping left and right, and it was such a powerful moment. So
it was so beautiful, those classes, especially that was 2018.
Yes, that was the first time. Yes.
And then you came back in 2019, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell me, what happened over there? What made all these big men and women, you know, sturdy women? It's like they were crying next to me left and right, and I was myself crying. So what happened?
Yeah, and also there was a lot of laughter, and there was a lot of joy, and there was a lot of screaming. So it's like it's the full spectrum of the human experience. And I think what's so beautiful about the breath and the specific practice that we did out in the playa is that the breath is always going to give you what you need in that moment, even though you may have no idea what you need or what's causing all the problems in your life. The breath has this intelligence to it that is always going to tap us into what we need to experience in a felt sense for us to expand, grow, and evolve. And for some people, that means crying because we've shoved down our emotions for 10 years and we haven't cried in so long. For other people, they need to have a little bit more fun. They need to smile. They need to laugh. So, you know, they're laughing. Or for other people, they haven't expressed anger in a healthy way, or they haven't screamed. So they're going to scream. And the breath will just always take us into those places. And I think what's special about the group classes, especially in a vortex that Burning Man is when you're hearing other people laugh or cry or scream, it's giving you permission to do the same.
Absolutely.
So your neighbor's crying, you're like, oh, shit, my neighbor's crying. They're really going through it. I can cry. I can let my guard down. I can really like, fall into this and do that. And that's what I think is so special about these group classes, is to really, feel into the group energy of the space, and really just surrender to the present moment. It's happening now.
Absolutely. Yes. And to be okay with that moment of being vulnerable.
Yeah, it's all welcome. Like every aspect of the human experience is welcome. And because where else in your life, like where else in your life are you able to cry like that, to scream like that, to laugh like that, all in a matter of like an hour?
Absolutely.
We go from this to this. And I think that's what's so beautiful and special about these experiences.
So what is it how does the breath work? What is it how does the breath manage to break those barriers of, it's like all these Pandora's box that we have put things in this box and we don't want to look at it, and we just keep on going on an autopilot and pretend that everything's okay, and inside we are like, no, this big suffering that we don't want to look at. So what happens when you take the breath and with the present moment?
Like the simplest way of like really getting to it is like the breath forces you to feel your feelings and to feel what you've been avoiding or numbing out for your whole life, whether it's, I don't want to feel this, so I'm gonna eat some food, or do this thing or do that thing. The breath actually gets us into our bodies so we can feel the totality of the human experience. For a lot of us, we've been shoving down a lot of these emotions, and emotion is energy in motion. A healthy system is a system where there is a flow of energy through the system. And when we have traumatic experiences in our life, and we have painful experiences in our life, a lot of energy gets just stagnant and stuck in our bodies. And if the energy if the energy is stagnant and stuck, I always compare it to like a river or a pond. Well, think about a pond. Ponds are still, and they collect algae because they're still. There's not a current running through it. There's not a movement rolling through the pond. So it collects a lot of algae, and we're no different. Like, we're nature, just like the pond. And the moment you introduce movement into the pond, it turns into a stream. The algae dissipates. So the energy itself is meant to flow through our system and through our bodies, but we're not moving the energy through our system. And the breath itself is an amazing tool that allows us to actually move this energy through our system consistently. And for a lot of people, we're not actually, like, for a lot of people, we're not breathing into like these lower parts of our body. We're up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I read somewhere that, like, do not quote me on this.
Too late.
Yeah, you're right. You're on camera. I think it's like 70% of our like blood capillaries are located from our waist down. So if we're not actually like breathing into like the lower parts of our bodies and our extremities, like there's a lot of energy that can be stuck and stagnant in even just the lower parts of our system, because we're not consciously directing and moving the energy through our system.
But that is related to the consciousness, because we're not even conscious that we are just breathing up here. And it's
a lot of us, we aren't even conscious that we're breathing.
True.
That we're like that it's just something that it's just happening in the background. And yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing, is that it actually allows us to move energy through our system. So we're not just stuck like this.
Yeah.
And in the classes themselves, I'm encouraging, people to, shake out their hands, move, like do whatever they feel like they need to do in the moment. Because we have all the answers of what we actually need right now in this moment. It's just a matter of like turning this guy down some,
Absolutely.
so that we can actually tap into this knowing that is within us.
But our conditioning is that it's like we can't. We like little children know that we need to move and we need to move our body. Whereas then, it's like when the conditioning starts, it's like, don't move. I have friends who have been put books under their arms so that, they can be properly sitting with the, and
I've never heard that. That's a good idea.
So it's just like, how can we come back to when we have to undo this conditionalizing that has been done to us? And it's like, and look at us and be ridiculous, doing whatever we need to do in order to get the energy going and into our body.
Yeah, well, it's these spaces are normalizing a lot of this, where it's like, this is actually like our truest nature, like our most primal and natural nature is like to be expressed in these ways. But we live in a world and in a society where if you go around like screaming or, throwing your hands all over the place, you're going to be, called a crazy person. But these are things that we need to do. We need to breathe, and we need to be conscious of our breath. We also need to make sound, and not just speaking, but like actually making sound with the breath that we have. And if that's toning or screaming, whatever it is. And then also we need to be singing. And then we need to be moving. And it's not even just going to a workout class. It's walking. It's like super simple. Like we have way overcomplicated this human life thing.
Yes, absolutely. So it's like even in the morning, it's like I have a little doggy and it's like he doesn't go anywhere before he stretches a little bit. And we
and they know best.
Do that.
Yeah.
We have forgotten to do that. We have this amazing body and we have forgotten it. So what we are doing at Universal Healing is that we do give out these wonderful healings, and every week we have a special healing going on, and people stay at their home and they receive this healing where energy is being remotely sent, and they get this gift of this wonderful offering of of how they can start healing their life and healing their body. So I'd like you to give us maybe some ideas that it's like when people get this healing, what can they do about their breathing when they are sitting or lying down for an hour and getting this healing? So what can they do?
So one thing that is very simple and then also difficult to maintain is really just actually staying consciously connected to the breath moving in and out. And it sounds like very simple. It's like, oh, you just bring awareness to your breath and you just trace it, going in and out. But the thing is when we're actually aware of and connected to the breath that's moving in and out, we are present and we're actually connected to the present moment. It's an anchor point. I always describe it at the breath itself. I always describe as like, if you're a ship out at sea and there's a crazy storm coming, if you don't have your anchor down, like the storm is going to take the boat and it's going to throw it all over the place. It's going to capsize it, right? If you're not connected to your breath, all sorts of things happening in your life, crazy stuff's happening at home. You get fired from your job. Your life is just falling apart. If you're not connected to your breath, that can just it can really throw you off. But if you're connected to your breath and you're actually connected to now, you can know that that's your anchor point and it's your foundation and it's your support to move through anything that life gives you.
Absolutely.
So
And I
for
love that. I need to say this to you because it's like, at school. So we recently we do something which is, I'm a Brennan teacher as well. And I teach the first year students at the Brennan School of Healing in Paris. And we do alignment and grounding. And in this grounding, we really take the breath. We really have started to do more and more of like just taking breath first, relaxing the body, and just like and becoming conscious of our breathing. Because already just taking a breath in, it, like you say, it brings us into the present moment. It's not about my life is shit and it's like there's so much trouble what I have and I don't know, I need to do this tomorrow, and it's like I'm stressed and I'm all over the place. And the moment that I just take one breath and I bring my energy down, I'm in my alignment, I'm in the center of myself, and I'm deeply grounded into the earth, anything can come to me.
Yeah, infinite possibility only in the present moment.
I love it.
The
field of potentiality.
Yeah, and that's we teach what we need to learn the most, right? So this is a constant practice of continuing to come back. And I think one of the biggest one of the ways that I know I'm not connected to my breath is when I'm like, I usually tend to think about the future more so than the past. And when I'm directed in the future and I'm like, thinking and, just all up here, I know that I'm not connected to my breath, because if I'm connected to my breath, I'm actually here, present now. Mm-hmm. So that's almost become like a flag for me, where it's like, if you're up in your head and you're thinking about all these things, you're actually not connected to your breath. You're not connected to now. You're not present. Get present.
Yeah. So how can we help people to be present, to have their breath when they realize that they don't have their breath, or they are out of breath, or they are like, they have forgotten to breathe, or well, they haven't forgotten to breathe, but they are not conscious of it. So what is the first step that you would say to people?
So when you shared that, what was coming up for me was, outside of just the breath and breathing, it's coming into a felt sensation of what's happening now. So that doesn't just mean breathing. It just means having an awareness of the felt sense. So outside of just breathing, you can be feeling the sunlight coming onto your skin. You can feel the breeze. You can be more present when you're feeling the water as you're washing your hands, or as you're washing your body in the shower. So these are all things that bring us into the now moment of actually feeling. And I think that's, I've been doing a lot of reflecting on breath work in particular, and what it does. And through my own experience, what I've experienced is breath itself it cleanses your internal systems and your channels. And then you ultimately do become more sensitive to feeling in your environments. And when we're feeling, we're actually, we're present to what's happening now. So I would say, alongside of just being aware of the breath, something super simple, just like counting breaths. I like to keep it really simple, like counting to 10, breathing in and out, and just doing that. And you can obviously go up from there, but to count or to count down. And the whole thing is just becoming aware of the breath moving in and out, not needing to like force it, not needing to direct it anywhere, but allowing it to naturally flow through you. And that's something that can be done whenever, wherever. You know, we always have
like
the
several
ability
times a day. Like several times a day, just take a break and just like, give yourself the little gift of breathing.
Yeah. And, it doesn't have to be complicated. Like, we don't have to do these, we don't have to get overwhelmed by all of these practices and techniques and all that. Like, you can literally just take, like we did at the beginning of this call, take 10 seconds, close your eyes, and just center and connect with your breath. That takes less than 10 seconds to do. And we can do that throughout the day. And that's something that's been really helpful for me. Is just like knowing that you always have the ability to close your eyes. You always have the ability to just stop what you're doing and take a breath. Like, you can always do that.
It's kind of like taking the power back to yourself.
Yes. Well, because think about how much information is coming into our eyes. So much information is coming into our eyes. And when we close them, we can really connect to the truth of who we are.
That's very beautiful. I've been aware that all the time that we are talking, maybe
we weren't recording.
We were recording.
Okay, good.
I think we are recording. I have been breathing really very, very deep and very peacefully, and it feels really good to me to be with you and talk about breathing, and just so almost like once we let go of all that buzz around us, and it's like this is really the natural frequency, and this is the natural vibration for us to be really together in this.
Yeah. So how can you create the environments, your life, to really amplify the present moment, right? Because that's it. I think we can be so distracted, and especially with technology and all of these things that actually pulls us away from our body and pulls us out of the present moment.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And this is what you teach in our classes, and you do group classes, and then you do individual sessions, and I'm sure that you do with couples. And
I haven't worked a whole lot with couples. Mainly, I've been working in groups. Before everything that happened in 2020 and 2021, like Burning Man, I was doing a lot of larger groups. And then I have a select few, not select few, I have a few one-on-one clients that I work with. And yeah, I'm in the midst of creating a new experience with a dear friend and soul sister of mine that will actually incorporate breath, sound through the voice, and movement all in one experience, all in one 3-hour experience. So I'm in the midst of doing that, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
That sounds wonderful. Maybe maybe we can work on this in the future and do a special breathing class for our clients.
Yeah, let's do it.
No, that would be wonderful. Hey, Robert, thank you so much for this interview. So just to let you know that we are ready for the dust.
Yes.
We have been, getting our tickets to Burning Man this year. So hopefully we'll meet in the dust again and breathe dust together.
Yes. Yeah, what a wild thing we did, huh? Breathing in a lot of dust out there.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. So if people want to work with you, so how can they get hold of you?
On my website, robertstarbuck.com, and there's a contact button on the top menu, so you just shoot me an email.
That's great. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you.